When the lights come down and I leave the stage, it's you that makes it all worthwhile.
Welcome to Direction of the Heart Skype discussion web television series. I'm your host, Mike Aloia, with my co-host, Mr. Pete DeLorenzo from New Jersey. How you doing, Pete? I feel you, man. I feel you. It's good to see you, brother. It really is. My heart's been in my heart and in my prayers and everything. I know life's got its challenges, and Lord knows I've been through mine. And I know Taylor Morgan, our guest, has been through some challenges in life as well. She's from Batemans Bay, Australia, and we are so happy and honored to have you on the discussion series, Direction of the Heart. Taylor, I want to ask you one thing before we get started. We call you, all Aussies, we say that you're down under. Do you guys say the same thing about us, or are we up or above or something?
No, I actually kind of think of you guys as, sort of a Back to the Future thing, because right now you're actually speaking to me in the future because it's Monday here, and where you guys are, it's Sunday.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm you're the past right now.
So we're in a whole time warp
back in
right
time.
Now. That's similar to when I'm Skyping with Adam Greenwell out of New Zealand. It's a whole day difference. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I believe it was not Walt Disney, Charles Schultz, that made a comical statement. Don't fret about tomorrow, because tomorrow's already over. It's yesterday somewhere. It's yesterday or it's tomorrow somewhere else in the world.
Well, I think it's so you're telling me if I took off on an airplane today, I would get there when the day before?
Well, no, you would be traveling into the future.
I would travel.
So you would be getting there, skipping a day, nearly.
It's already Monday,
Wow.
Mike. So if we left today, whatever day we arrive, it would be the next day there. So it's like Monday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it.
Which is pretty amazing, But I mean, that statement by Charles Schultz, bear with me. Charles Schultz had a lot of merit. He says, "Don't fret about today because it's already yesterday, the past, or it's tomorrow, somewhere else in the world. So don't worry about today."
Great advice.
I tell you, Taylor, I know you and Pete have been friends for quite a while, and you told me you had wrote me a little brief summary of what you've been through and what you're all about and how Pete helped you through a lot. And a couple things kind of intrigued me, and that was going from actually you are an author, but you actually were an author with erotic romance novels, and then you got a lot of kickback from that as far as bullying and cyberbullying and things of that nature, and that kind of turned your whole world around. Is that kind of the gist of that?
Yeah, pretty much. I ended up having to disappear because it got so bad. I ended up getting death threats, and there was a whole lot of really nasty people on social media, and in the end, I just went, you know what, my health's not that great. I don't need this bullshit. So see you later. Goodbye. The end. Canning it. And I got really depressed because I thought, writing is my life. And I spoke to some friends of mine, and a girlfriend of mine, she was going through a bit of abuse herself, and just talking with her and helping her through it and everything sort of inspired me to start writing. And so then I started writing my book, 15 Shards of Broken Glass, and Pete ended up reading the draft copy that I put out free online. And then by the time that was finished, I got a lot of positive feedback, and a publisher even approached me and said, we want to publish this. And I kind of went, whoa, mainstream publishing, no, I want to control this because this is a very important book and a very important message, and it's something that was close to my heart. And I just couldn't let it go to somebody else and have absolutely no control over it. So I published it, and it went really well. But it's helped a lot of people, and the feedback that I've gotten is pretty positive because the subliminal message in the book is survival. And I think I'm pretty good at surviving.
Well, Taylor, if I could interject from my heart, and I say this as a friend, as a brother in Christ to you, as a fellow artist, you an author, I also am a writer as well as an artist. And, we bonded on Facebook on a lot of different aspects of, survival, as you said, getting through tough times. And when you mentioned bullying, what was basically happening when we talked to us, there were a lot of people with jealousy and animosity, and this goes on. We as artists, writer, singer, recording artist, actor, we all go through it where there's animosity and jealousy. And, if I did anything to help you, I'm honored, but I just gave you support and Christian love and encouragement. And then sent me the electronically, first, before it was even published of your book, I wrote a nice endorsement for you, which was from the heart.
You did, yes.
And I was honored that got printed on the jacket and on the inside of the book with endorsements, and I meant every word of it,
I couldn't thank you enough for that. That was lovely. I really appreciated that. And to have somebody else appreciate the book so much, it meant a lot to me.
Well,
personally.
I
really appreciated it.
When I read it, it put chills up my spine. It touched my heart. The pain, based on, your story was based on, in essence, experience of yours, and I believe you said merging with another person that, characters and what you went through and the suffering. And so, to me, that was a testimony that must have been hard for you to do in getting that out, but sharing it with the public and getting it to be published is so instrumental to helping other people that either are or have gone through what you had gone through, and the other lady, that co-wrote with you. And amazing, Mike. If you read the book, it will send chills up your spine. And
where can people
surviving?
Where can people purchase a copy of it?
On Amazon. Or Barnes & Noble, any online good bookstore, really.
I was going to say, online, but you also, isn't it in Barnes & Nobles or some of the well-known bookstores?
Yeah, you can get it on Barnes & Noble and Amazon, the Book Depository.
I've got a photographed copy right here, baby.
Yeah, you got a copy right there. See, he's got a copy.
Now, I have not read the book, or in the summary, I got to thinking, writing this book, was that very therapeutic for you in order to get through the emotions and hidden things that were in your heart of everything? Did that come out, and was it therapeutic to really kind of take that weight off your shoulders? And
it was exhausting. Exhausting.
Yes.
Because when you write with such emotion, like I like to do, I like to make my characters real and believable, even though they're fictional in this story. I like to make them real. So in order to do that, I give them emotion. I give them a part of myself and bring them to life. And
what was
it's really draining.
Some of your characters were not just fictitious; they were real people, and kind of just changed around a little bit, like yourself and the other lady. And and then there were some, no doubt, I guess you put in some, like in my film. It is based loosely on my life and career, whereas. And even the character of the mentor in my film was, 3/4, 7/8 of it is the real Joe Franklin, who was my mentor in real life. So similar to that, Taylor, and this is what I discussed with you when you were writing it, and when I read that you put real life characters, including yourself, and changed the names, and then some fictitious characters, but a powerful story that jumps off the page at you, like you're living it, Mike, like you're going through it with her. My God.
I can't wait to read it. You got me.
I'll have to shoot you over a copy.
Honestly, you will not be able to.
That would be beautiful.
My lady Marcella read it; she couldn't even put it down. And of course, I read it right through when you sent it to me electronically. I read all through it. And Marcella, when she was reading, she couldn't put it down. So it is that type of a book, Mike. And I'm not just saying this.
Well, I'd like to probably let my daughter read it. We had some problems with my youngest daughter had dealt with bullying.
I would say let her read it.
And she actually had to be homeschooled. There was so much going on in the school system, and the schools weren't doing anything to stop it. And it was an emotional terror.
You know, Taylor, actually, this should come from you, Taylor, but if I might just say, on behalf of Taylor, who is a remarkable author, wonderful person, a very dear friend, a respected Christian. I'm getting emotional right now. When you read this book, it will curl a hair on your neck, Mike, because of what this lady went through and what this other woman went through. I just want to read you something, and Taylor, if I might, this is what Taylor wrote to me, and it touched my heart. Hi, P, and thanks for believing in me and looking toward. I'm so drained right now. Looking toward the future. Taylor Morgan, okay, to my dear friend. But in the endorsement, this is what I wrote. She wrote in the book, Taylor is currently, I think we should let our viewers know, looking forward to working on the screenplay for the version of her book with Jack of all trades, P.T. Lorenzo. But P.T. Lorenzo is not only American actor, director, but that's what they want about me, producer, comedian, songwriter, humanitarian, and my film, The Mentor. I mentioned that, and then saw the potential in this book, which is, the credit is to you, that I did definitely see major potential in her book. You see,
now,
that when I read, and here's the endorsement, Mike, if I may tell you, for me to read the endorsement I gave her, because I said this from the heart, every word of it. Though the names and places have been changed, this compelling story of Annie Clark cries out to its readers in this based on a true story book, 15 Shards of Broken Glass, by Phoenix L. James, and Taylor Phoenix did the magnificent work of production, publicist, and editor, and Taylor Morgan, all right? And I wrote, this riveting story will walk you through the torment, trial, and sheer anguish that Annie was exposed to from a tender age of 5 years old, from which her nightmare began. The reader is brought on a very graphic, show me a little bit more here. A very graphic journey, okay, of the horror that Annie went through, and yet the extreme courage, underscore, courage, that she maintained to survive being a victim of abandonment and abuse beyond imagination. This is a must-read that will touch the human heart and bring awareness that no woman and no human being should ever, ever have to suffer what Annie did and went through. It will inspire others that may have been victims of abuse and the triumph of resilience. This book, in my professional opinion, should be on the bestsellers list. And where is it? It is. See? That's a wonderful thing. It is.
Beautiful, Pete.
Has all the earmarks. Great script for a feature film. 2 thumbs up. Bravo. Okay, now, bottom line, then it was after that, Taylor, that you gave me the honor of saying that, and I said I would love to collaborate with you, and I will do the screenplay for the film, like we're going to do with Ran. You know? Now, Ran asked me to do that also for his film. All right, Mike, go ahead. You take it away.
You had also mentioned in your brief summary when we had first started talking about the contemplations of suicide. Yeah. Now, is that part of the book, or is that also in real life?
Yeah,
both actually. I mean, about 10 years ago or so, I probably reached one of the lowest points in my life, and I'd lost a lot of things, and I felt so alone, and I didn't know how to reach out to anybody, because everybody who I'd ever known had shut me out of their life because some personal reasons, and just things that I've left in my past, and they stay there, and I don't like talking about them a lot, but it was a very dark time, and I did try to take my own life, but that was probably because I was just so depressed, and medication doctors give you and stuff, it doesn't help, it messes more with your head. But the thing that saved me from that was, the one thought was, God won't forgive you if you do this. This is selfish. Your life doesn't belong to you to take. Right. It belongs to God. And by taking that, you're stealing from Him.
Well, a lot of people...
And it's a commandment, thou shalt not kill, meaning yourself or anyone else.
Well, there's a lot of people that believe it. I was taught when I was a child that if you kill yourself, you will go to hell. There's no going to heaven.
Well, look at Mike.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's something that's stuck in my head. But I sure don't want to take the chance. when I was a kid, Pete, I went through a lot of emotional stuff and threatened suicide and all that. My mother told me, she says, why don't you just shut up? If you're going to kill yourself, do it. Just don't get blood on my carpet.
But you know what? If I could say something, see,
Yeah, the cleaning bills can be atrocious.
Oftentimes, though, and if we go to the scriptures, Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Christ, all right, it is noted in the scriptures that afterwards he went and hung himself, and he is noted as the son of perdition. So, yeah, he went to the grave, Sheol, hell. That is hell, the grave, you see. So he was the son of perdition. Jesus, and throughout the scriptures we're told, thou shalt not kill, period, meaning yourself or anything else. Because as Morgan very aptly put, our life is not ours. It is lent to us while we are here. God gives us that breath of life, as he gave Adam right back in the Garden of Eden. So it's not for us to take our own life or someone else's. But, you know, what you said and what you went through, blood on the carpet, but, you know, think about it that, you know, when, in most cases, because I've worked with battered women and abused children and life coach and suicidal victims, and depression, Morgan, they no doubt probably had you on antidepressants, things like that, and that could make a person even worse, the side effects and everything. And it's psychological, your brain plays tricks on you, and all of that stuff.
Oh, my God.
Pain. You've got to get off the drugs and just deal with the pain, you know, and realize that, you know, yes, today is crap, but tomorrow it's a new day with no mistakes in it. It's a fresh day. You have, you know, new opportunities that are going to present themselves, and if you end it today, you're going to miss out on those.
Right. Well, you know, when one kind of, and I say this not facetiously, it's kind of cowardly, because they're taking care of self, saying, I can't cope no more, or I just want to out, I want to take myself out, but they're not thinking of their loved ones, their family, their children, their grandchildren, whatever. So it's kind of cowardly. And Mike, I think I brought this out on a former show, not to belabor it, but I remember a gentleman who was a very close friend of mine, a fellow actor, and he was very depressed after he lost his wife. They were tremendously in love, very depressed. And I was on the phone with him. This man, I heard the revolver cock. He had a loaded gun to his head. And Mike, I was like somebody in a flight tower trying to land a plane. Okay, and I actually, with the grace of God, the glory goes to God, but talked him out of doing it. And my hands were shaking. I was sweating beads.
Well, you know something,
talked him out of it. So you see, he was at a point where you lose that fine line with reality. And it's
absolutely. And what happens is, you know, I don't understand the human mind, how its ability to do this, to go into a destruction mode and actually put, you know, we put ourselves into a mental prison. And you get in that mental prison, and you're being tormented. We torment ourselves. I don't understand why us as human beings even have this. You know, if it's a gene, I tell you what, I'd like to get it removed, because I don't want to.
I agree. Yeah.
You got a point there. It's not necessarily a gene, but when you think about it, even men in war, when they were in Nam or in prison camps, you know, they get tortured and they get brainwashed to the point where they would tell guys in Nam, your brain is in that paper box, and then they would step on the box.
You nailed it saying about the brain.
That's how powerful.
Exactly.
What's that, Taylor?
Pete nailed it when he said, you know, it's all about brainwashing. It is. You know, when someone messes with your head and you don't know which way's up or down anymore, it's that at that point where I think it drives people to...
We actually brainwash ourselves because we feed into it, and we don't have strength. Sometimes it's... And other people, they don't have a strong mind. A lot of people don't have a strong mind. To know, hey, you know, let it go, get away from me, walk away. No, they feed right into it. It feeds back, and it's like feeding the beast.
Yeah, well, it's feeding it like you feed a coal, all right?
Yes.
What happens is the mind is so finite, and like you brought out, that it's beyond our comprehension. That was in the opening monologue of my film, that our comprehension and what God, our ways are not God's ways, and God's ways are not our ways. So we can't even comprehend. And, you know, doctors, scientists, it baffles the mind that what goes on in the human mind. That there are people that walk on beds of coal, hot coals. There are people that lay on nails and void out the pain. The mind is a very powerful thing, and that's why I was saying, like, and now it would actually get them to think that their brain was in that box, and then they would step on that box, and they were brain dead. That's how powerful. So the human mind can, for the good or for the worse, It can go either way.
And you can destroy yourself. The mind can allow us to destroy ourselves.
We're all human, and we could have any human. If we, and, there's a famous saying from the Runaway Train movie with John Boyd: "No one can do to you what you don't let them." Okay.
But you have to love yourself.
No one can do to you what you don't let them.
So that's it. You have to love yourself.
Self-esteem. Your dignity, your integrity, and there are people that will virtually rape you of that, belittle you, demean you, and try to tear you down.
Spiritual vampirism.
And Jesus said,
"Suck the life out of you."
You shall be persecuted for my name's sake, and they shall say all manner of evil against you. And this is what people are doing: the bullying, the abuse, and many people went through it, and it's a.
I think everybody goes through it, no matter who they are.
Degrees, yes.
What point in time, some way, somehow, somewhere.
Right, they do, and so different levels, but some more than others, that their whole lifestyle could be like that, where there's been nothing but discord and chaos and violence, this, that, things. And like I talked to that young fella on the set, I told that story on the show where he had recollection. The only recollection he had of his father was beating the hell out of his mom. He was an alcoholic and a druggie, and trying to strangle her and throw her out of a 3-4-story window. So you see, but yet he didn't go that route. He turned out to be abusive like his dad, but he turned him. They flipped it, and he's out there. This kid was working 4 or 5 jobs to support his mom and his brothers and sisters. That is amazing. So it shows anyone can do it. How? With God. The only way you're going to do it.
Is that what the whole thing was God and your belief in Jesus Christ, Taylor? I mean, what was it that got you through it, and what are your beliefs?
What got me through it was, I had a very strict religious upbringing as a child. So I've got a very strong belief in God, a very strong belief in His Word, the Bible. But with that said, funnily enough, I am anti-religion. And the reason that I am anti-religion is because there's just so many religions in the world that preach peace, love, hope, and yet they're so quick to go out there and kill their neighbor or harm their neighbor or say something horrible about somebody else.
And you know what?
And I just think, well, how can that be, following God's word? How can that be showing love? How is that right? And
it's not right. It's not right. But you know why, Taylor? You and I talked about this many times, not to interrupt you. You and I talked about this many times when you say I helped you or whatever, but God was the one that helped you. I was just maybe an instrument. But what I encourage you is you do have a good Christian background, so it's not like you don't believe in God. Religion, if you look up the word, means an order or way of life. And as you said, there are tons of religions in the world, tons of them. But there's only one God and there's only one truth. So if we put our reliance in God's word and in God himself, rather than when Jesus said they choose to obey the laws of men rather than the laws of God. And the Apostle Paul reiterated that in Acts and Romans and Corinthians and many of the other books that he wrote, that when man comes along and wants to take away or add to the scriptures, then that's man's laws. And that constantly changes. But Jesus Christ is the same today as yesterday, and his word never changes.
Amen, brothers.
She has God, you see. So the religion, Taylor, I can understand. Religion to some people becomes a business, and it becomes.
I agree with you, Taylor, and I feel the same. I'm more of a spiritual person than a religious man. I grew up in the Catholic Church. I get ready to do some motivational testimonial speaking on a non-denominational church called the People's Church with Pastor Carlisle, and I also know that a lot of churches they've separated themselves. Churches need to come together, and you know what? They're talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk.
And it's becoming a business. They're making money. As you freely receive, you freely. They're making it a business. They're making it political. There's so many different factors. Regardless, and you know, I was actually, when I was little, raised as a Catholic, and by about 11 years old, I would go there, and back then the Mass was still in Latin. And we're not knocking the Catholics or any other denomination, but being that I was raised, and I sat there and I'm going, I can't understand a word this priest is saying, right? And they're saying things that they don't back up with Scripture, and it's all like ceremony and pomp and tradition, and there are many other religions that do this too. And I just went to a non-denominational church, but my grandfather, on his knee, from a young boy, read the Scriptures, and he didn't take anything away, and he didn't add anything. And I read the scriptures and what God teaches us and what is God's laws.
You know,
what is His principle.
I tell you
What you were
something.
saying
Holy
before,
God.
sorry, Pete, sorry, Mike. Yeah, what you were saying before, to answer your question, you know, what actually got me through that time was my belief in God and my relationship with God. And you know, God is someone who's very real to me, and
Taylor, you and I talked
he's
about
like
that
a friend.
times.
He's like a friend, and when you read the Bible, you know, you get to become God's friend. And you know, with all the stuff that I've gone through, you know, recently, you know, the story of Job, how Job lost everything, he even lost his health, and yet he still remained close to God. He still trusted in God. He was still God's friend. And I just think, well, you know, holy cow,
Yeah,
the
and
same
what
thing's
was the
happening to
outcome?
me. And I'm
What
thinking,
was the outcome?
why?
Job was
You know, I'm nobody
everything,
special, but
everything that he lost virtually. That's a very good point you brought out. Everything that Job lost, and I mean virtually everything, it was restored unto him tenfold because of his faith in God.
And you know what? That's the only thing that got me through my roughest times was God, my belief in God and the Lord Jesus. Now we're down to just about a minute left, and I want to tell you,
Wow, that went awful fast.
one thing that I dig in life is the music and being in harmony. American Hearts Radio Entertainment Network is bringing the hearts of the world together through harmony, through music, through live events. We did a benefit show for these two little girls last night. The show was awesome. We did it at the American Legion. I had so many people coming up.
Raised a lot of money, I hope, for them. Raised a lot of money for them.
$4,000.
God bless. Hey, that's good.
You know,
both these children have cancer. God bless. That's a good
we had
amount.
18 days to put it together. Boom, boom, boom. It all together. Everybody did their job. Everybody worked together as a team. We came together. You know what? It's like the Beatles come together.
Yeah, exactly.
That the Doobie Brothers. Jesus is just all right with me.
And Jesus said,
just all right. Oh yeah.
Jesus said, there are even 2 or 3 gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. So, you know, you had a lot of great support, and I'm so glad that it went so successful.
Oh, it was awesome.
Why don't you, Taylor, while we still have some time, tell our viewers where they can locate you, Facebook, Twitter.
Yes, Taylor.
Website,
and also,
your website, things like that.
Yeah, Taylor, tell people where to get a hold of you, like Pete said. And also, I'd like you to close out and give a message.
The latest version. It's the latest version of my book. 15 Shards of Broken Glass is the condensed version.
That's the new cover, right?
That's the new cover. The new cover is a little bit more, it tells a little bit more about the story. But this is actually the large print version. And this is just a regular print version. So both are going to be available soon in bookstores. Yeah, I released it in large print first because, you know, of my vision impairment that I just, you know, got. So it came in handy so I could do a reading at the book launch. But I decided to release an ordinary version for people who didn't have a vision impairment. So, yeah, that's available now as an ebook, but it will soon be out in print. So I'm looking forward to that.
I am so honored and proud to have met you, Taylor, and I hope we do more things together in the future and keep in contact. And I'd love to read your book. I just had something happen to me last night that kind of I forgot about until just now, and it was very profound. I had a boy come up to me out of the blue. He said, "Mike," he said, "you remember me?" I said, I knew he looked familiar. He said, "Man, I used to work for you when I was 15 years old."
Wow.
He said, "Man, I knew that was your voice." I said,
Yeah.
"Man, you know what? I still can't remember the kid's name."
No.
But
Talk about a deja vu.
yeah, you know, I run a few companies. I do paint, clean, and repair work. I run the network. I work with Harmony Booking. I also prepare documents with Ameridocs process company I own for homeowners to help them save money on attorneys. But he asked me, he says, "Do you have any work for me? Can you guide me somewhere, man?" He says, "I'm staying with some friends. I just got back in town." I said, "You know what, brother?"
You're mentoring him. See that? That's great.
He said, he said, you helped me so much when I was a kid. And now I've been through the hell and back, the drugs, living on the streets, doing everything wrong. I'm trying to get my life straight. I said, "Well, bro, I tell you what, I am, pretty much got everybody I need right now that's helping me. And I don't, I felt bad because I don't have the time. I don't have the position right now that I can offer him." I told him, I looked at him, I said, "I tell you what, little brother," I said, "I'm going to guide you. I want you to go talk to Jesus.
There you go.
I want you to get on your hands and knees and you talk to Jesus, and he will guide you.
He will make a path. He will make a way.
And
Absolutely.
he started tearing up, man. He shook my hand and he walked away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Came out of the blue, you know?
Yeah. Well, you see, and that was like last week briefly when I mentioned about that girl way back in the early part of my career that approached me on the street, and who thought that that was going to boomerang that years later. All I did was impart words of wisdom to her, and it changed her. She came up to me and told me, you changed my life, you saved my life, and I was like, ah. And it turned out that, you know, she was tricking on the street and everything, and I said, I just gave her words of encouragement and admonished her that, you know, maybe there's something else you can do.
Well, Pete, you are an inspiration.
And her husband a lawyer. And who thought that was going to come back at you?
God brings people together. We've talked about it. There is no doubt in my mind. Call me crazy, but it's real. God works through people.
And at times, Mike, very good point, he puts them right at the time where either it's their need or your need, and he puts them in our lives and lives touching lives. And this is basically what my film is about, the impact of lives upon other lives. And how it could change your life in a moment forever, for the better or for the worse, and hopefully for the better.
Well, you know what? It sounds to me like Taylor Morgan's book is probably inspired and changed people's lives.
It's fire. You can't hold it in your hands. It's fire. I'm telling you, you got to get a copy and read it. It's unbelievable. It will blow you.
It has helped a lot of people, and even some women who have been abused. They've said to me, you know, look, Taylor, this book has been wonderful. I wish I read this book before I suffered the domestic abuse or the sexual abuse or something. And, you know, I've had some men also say, you know, look, Taylor, this is a great book. I'm going to give this to my daughter. I'm going to give it to my wife, you know. Sign 2 copies for me so I can give one to my sister-in-law as well. And, you know, it's been crazy. I mean, in the back of the book, there's a crisis contact page, so that if women find themselves, or men, in a domestic violent situation, all they need to do is grab the book and run out the door. The contact numbers are in there. Because, I mean, when you're in that situation, you don't always know who to call, who to talk to, who to reach out to for help. And, I mean, praying is only going to get you through so much, but it's not going to get you practical help. You know, it'll help strengthen you to give you the courage to stand up, to go and get help, break free of that abusive relationship, and seek help, you know.
I've seen from the past, like when I had charity or humanitarian work for battered women and abused women and everything, and sometimes they could go to like a shelter or something, and it's worse than if they were on the street. Drug dealers and drug addicts and people that steal from them or try and even kill them and all kinds of horrible things. So they need to get to where it's a safe place. And this is wonderful what you're doing, and that's why I gave the endorsement I did to you, that this is touching the lives of masses of people, and God bless you for that, Taylor.
Just like Charlie Chaplin said. Charlie Chaplin said that the troubles in our life are not permanent.
Yep.
No, that's right.
And Taylor Morgan, thank you so much for being on Direction of the Heart.
Thank you for having me.
You are a wonderful lady.
Marcella sends her love to you, too. She adores you.
Thanks.
And Pete, my prayers, the prayers of the whole network, go out to you as well, my brother. I know you're dealing with some things, and I love you, man, and you're going to get through it. And, you know, it says in the Bible, man, the hardest thing to do is not worry about things, but to just pray about everything.
And that's what I've been doing with my lady Marcella, because it's some trying times. You know, I mean, her son is very ill, and so prayers. If our viewers, please pray for Marcella, my lady's son, and that, you know, these are trying times, and things like this happen in the world. But I have always, and I prayed with her together, and we both pray, and prayer, as the Bible says, fervent prayer of a righteous person availeth much. So we have to look.
You know what, brother? Tell her, Marcella, that I love her. Taylor Morgan,
she thinks well to you, too. She does.
Yes, pass on our love to Marcella, please. And that we're thinking of her and her son at this time.
And she'll be watching this, so, you know, definitely, and I appreciate that from both of you. God bless you, and Bruce, too.
God bless you, man. Pete, I love you, brother.
You guys, big hug.
Right back at you. We're all hugging each other. And
big hug.
I love you, baby.
All I can say is to our viewers, and to you, my brother Mike, and to you, Taylor, my sister in the Lord, and to Bruce, and all our viewers, just never lose sight. Go to the light, not to the darkness. Keep your faith in God, and you cannot go wrong. And it takes a lot of faith.
one last thing before you go. The tagline on my book, it's a very powerful one, and it's one that I live my life by. And it's, I refuse to be a victim.
There you go.
I'm a survivor.
There you go.
And I encourage everybody to think the same. Don't be a victim. Be a survivor. You know, pull yourself together. Stand strong. You know, hold fast to your beliefs, and that'll get you through anything.
Never give up.
Now, real quick, do you
Never
have
give up. That's right.
a website or where our viewers can find you real quick so they can, you know, order
On
your
Facebook. On Facebook. My Facebook page is PhoenixLJames1 at facebook.com, or however you do that Facebooky thing. Just look up my pen name, Phoenix L. James, and you'll find me, or Taylor Morgan.
And you also have your own personal page too, Taylor Morgan from Australia, right?
Yeah. Yes. I'd have to look it up because I'm just not computer savvy to remember.
And then do you have a website or a blog or anything, or that you can give our viewers?
I do. I've got a blog. I think it's Taylor Morgan. It's just pretty simple. Yeah.
You're pretty simple.
Search my name, Taylor Morgan. You'll find it. It's, you know, and this mug's pretty hard to forget.
A simple girl, baby.
Well, we all send our love, and to everyone up there in Australia, and God bless you.
God bless you.
Honored to have you today as a guest, and just keep up the great work. God bless you. You're helping a lot of people.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really
Very
appreciate
proud of you.
it.
You're helping a lot of people.
And I want to say thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in to the Direction of Heart, and also all those that are supporting this network and this show as well. I want to say God bless you, God bless everybody, and rock and roll, baby.